What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Billy Collins.
I'm MATJ.
And this is Magician and the Jock. We have Young Jock here with
Young
us.
Jock.
And we have Mr. Josh Bell as our guest today.
Jay Holiday.
Guys, do us a big favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash the like button.
You stole my thunder. I say that.
This is a great show. Y'all are going to want to see this. Trust me on this. Trust me on this one. This is good.
Mr. Josh Bell. Guys, thanks for coming on. Chris is pretty much part of the show. We have to get you in the intro. We got to find a way to get him in.
Nah, we're good.
We're good.
Chris is afraid of commitment.
So Josh has joined us on this podcast, this show this week. Thank you so much for coming in.
Very excited to be here.
It is exciting, actually. So Josh is a young powerhouse, up-and-coming, rising
Superstar.
auto superstar.
Oh, he's risen. He has
He's
risen
risen.
indeed.
This is Sunday, baby.
He has risen indeed.
Great storyteller. I mean, you have everything, just larger-than-life attitude.
Great
wherever
looks.
you go in. Great looks.
Come on now, don't be.
Stunning.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
His number one characteristic is humility. In my opinion.
He's very humble.
Yes.
He's very humble about himself.
God took his time on me.
So Josh, he has. I've known him for a while, but I've always been impressed with him from the outside. You know, big life of the party. Chris, you've been friends with Josh forever.
Yeah.
But you're setting some serious records.
Now, we are 40 months
40 months in a row.
top selling. Pull up a little bit more, like right there. Yeah, there you go. That way we can hear you.
40 months.
40 months top salesperson in your showroom,
Dealership.
dealership.
At the dealership. Yeah.
I don't know car lingo. I just buy cars from you. That's
I know. Everyone here is a customer except Chris.
Yeah, and you sold Matt the exact same car I got.
This was a little bit cooler, and that was part of the plan.
Yes, it was.
I got a hell of a deal.
I was like, finally stepped out of Matt's shadow, and all of a sudden, shit.
The Forerunner.
Like, thanks, Josh.
Twinsies.
But so you work at Parker here in Moorhead. You've been there for how long now?
December will be 7 years.
Damn.
Holy
7
crap.
years, Parker Honda.
But so before the show, we were going over like some things that make you. I mean, there's a lot to you. You're more than just work. But for here, I think for the audience, I mean, if I'm invited onto a podcast, they want to talk about my football background. You know, like what did I do junior, senior year? I haven't done much since then, but they also want to know, like, for all those young athletes out there, what advice would you give? So on the flip side, for you, we want to dive into sales, obviously, but you know, I think we'll kind of refer to this episode as you are great at what you're good at. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so authenticity. I don't know. What do you think, Billy?
And also, I think your background is intriguing. Some of the stories that I think that kind of.
Don't tell everything.
We won't, but
This is a PG.
I think everyone needs a little bit of fuel in the tank.
Absolutely.
And I think your backstory, where you come from, what you've been through, where you are now, kind of is your fuel in the tank to keep you going, keep you striving for greatness, and what we say, put that dent in the universe.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I think so. So why don't we start there? What was it like growing up here in Moorhead?
Me and my friends grew up at the Budget Inn, where Cookout is now. And, man, it was awesome. We had some great times. We just hang out, have fun. What I love about Moorhead is really my friends. Between Chris, Dalton, CJ, Lance, I guess Matt, and then now Billy. I threw them in there. You know?
You need the token old guy.
Y'all welcome me aboard, so you know. But no, just the small town feel where you get to know everybody and really just build those relationships with your friends and stuff. I mean, I wouldn't move it would take a lot for me to move Moorhead. Out of Moorhead, seriously.
So what about your past gives you the fuel to better yourself in the future?
Scared to go back. If you want the truth, scared to go back.
Yeah.
So, there was times where, we struggled a little bit, didn't have certain things, and now I'm used to those things and I don't want to go backwards. So that's what we do.
Yeah, I think we talked before the show, one of the guys that we kind of look up to is Phil Hudgens. He's multi-millionaire insurance provider, but he always said he knew that he had made it and he felt good when he looked at the menu and didn't look at the right side of the menu.
Get what you want.
You get what you
Get
want.
I kind of do that same thing, but on a much smaller Bojangles
When I go to
Burger King.
Don't look at the bottom right.
No,
of the,
yeah, the,
I'll look at the right side.
calorie intake.
Right side of the drive-through. Yeah.
So
This is me. I can handle it.
But he also talks about like people talk about your why. Like, what is your why? And that was a buzzword for a while. Simon Sinek wrote a book about it. Start with why. And he was the first one I heard describe it as your why is actually behind you. So it could be the why I work so hard right now is I know where I came from. I don't want to go back. You know, that's kind of the story of this country. People going through the Great Depression. That's what it molded how they were the rest of their life. You mentioned scared to go back.
Scared to go back. That, and honestly, all of my friend groups are super competitive.
Yes.
And I felt like that has like molded. I mean, that's like a whole mentality that
Iron sharpens iron.
absolutely. And when I first started, it was really, I mean, the selling cars and all that, and building relationships and all that. But at the end of the day, I had always wanted to be the number one on the board to send a message. And that's what we did.
That's what we did.
And that's what we did.
And I've seen some of them. Chris has shown me you actually do send the text message of your place on the board. So for the people listening, why don't you give them an idea? Because you're not just some schmuck off the car lot. You are.
He is the schmuck off the car lot. He is King Schmuck Bell.
Well, I'd say normally I do about 200 to 220 cars a year. So that puts me around 18 a month. I think second place did somewhere around 130 cars.
So close.
Yeah, kind of one eye tilt a little bit.
And for maybe give some people some perspective, because I don't think anyone really. I mean, we see a car lot with hundreds of cars out there. Is that? I mean, you're number one in your dealership for how many months now?
40 straight.
40 straight months.
Straight.
How many months were you working before you were number one?
2
2 months.
2 months.
How
It
did
took
how
you a
did you
long
how did you
time.
go from 2 months to number one?
Well, there was this guy named
What,
Scott Johnson.
did anyone else work at the dealership?
There was a few. I cut their throats. I strangle my paid people to buy from me. I'm just kidding. No, there was this one guy named Scott who he was me in a previous before me. Top dog forever. And when I came there, I went to the general manager. I said, "Who's selling all the cars?" And he said, "Scott." And I said, "I'm gonna stick to his ass like glue." Mm-hmm. And I would sit there, and he was old school. And I'd sit there at the desk. I'll never forget it. First night I had to work till 7:30. I don't work till 7:30. And I'm at the desk. I'm sitting there watching him, and I fall asleep, and I'm at his desk snoring. It's 7:30, so he rolls up these balls of paper and just hits me right in the head with it. And so, like, every day we had sales meeting, and when I would walk in the room, he'd go, like a snore. I mean, he would just constantly pick on me, but I loved it.
Yeah.
And
Almost
one month-
like rookie hazing. Or
Exactly,
whatever.
yeah. And the first month I beat him, I actually won 2 months in a row. The first month he went on vacation, and I beat him. Salesman of the month, top dog. I clap for me.
See the
Right.
opportunity.
Yeah. I was like, I like this.
It had a little asterisk
Yeah,
next to it.
that's okay. The second month, straight up, I'm on like month 3. I beat him in a row. I beat him, top dog. And so they had a big sales meeting about how good I was doing. He was the golden boy. He's balling up papers. He's cussing. I get out of the sales meeting. He walks up to me. He sticks his finger in my chest. And he says, "This will not end well for you."
38 months later.
And it's
Well, there were
on.
some gaps in between before I
Okay.
started. Yeah, that. And then I think it took about 3 years of building clientele and stuff like that. And then now it's kind of, I got the ball rolling is what I'd like to say. Or I got
The snowball
yeah, I got
effect.
the pump primed is what I like. We pump the prime, baby.
So I said this before. Matt wrote on the board when we were going over stuff. Punctual. Obviously, you weren't too punctual today.
Yeah, that was a
I
sarcastic.
sold 3 cars a day on my day off. They were asleep.
So
We did Sunday
We'll let
Fun
that
Day,
slide.
I'm still here.
We talk about making money. You're out making money.
yeah,
I was out helping customers.
That's right.
Helping.
I was. I had my when I got to the office today, there was 3 voicemails. People needing help.
And you were there.
I was there.
Not quite like a good neighbor. Not kind of similar
Josh
concept.
Bell was there. This might be our new slogan, everybody.
We get a
Like a
jingle,
good
somebody
neighbor.
to sing the jingle for
Josh
you.
Bell was there. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's a better crime. Don't sing that at a crime
Can we
scene.
keep going?
So with punctual, I know
that's
if
about
I have a birthday, you're always sending a card, or you have somebody send a card.
Yeah.
Or
You have great
know,
handwriting, man.
if you have,
I have skills that pay the bills.
or if you have something that comes in on the lot that you think I might enjoy, or like you'll send. So you're very punctual, very up to date on your stuff. Did you learn that, or has that always been your style?
Honestly, it's been built. When I first started going, I was selling a lot of cars off of being enthusiastic and, just being a go-getter, working bell to bell and all that. And then it just kind of, you get a little more professional and you understand how your customers work. Like when Matt calls me, he wants me to do everything.
Right.
I'm like his slave.
Yeah.
But it's okay, I charge him. Just a little. But I mean, when Matt buys a car, he doesn't want to come to the dealership until all the paperwork's done.
Yeah.
And the only thing we got to do is call USAA, I think.
Yeah.
This is insurance, and he can get the little green light. Because I would do it, but they won't do that for me.
Right.
And then that's what he likes.
Yeah, sure.
So you got to feel how the customer wants. It's not your selling process; it's their buying process.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important because there's a lot of old school hammer, drop the hammer, get them right here, do everything, old school. But you got to be able to kind of like I said, it's their buying process.
So do you get more customers off returns or referrals, or your customer base? How do you build that customer base?
Well, the first is you got to sell them once,
Right.
and you have to do such a good job that they like you, they trust you, and then you just have to keep up with them. And I mean, it goes from anything from saying hello to every time they're in service for their oil changes, or they might need something where you're not. I mean, it could be anything. Their Bluetooth gets disconnected, a lot of service stuff.
You're their guy.
I'm their, and I want them to know that. Even though it's inconvenient for me, I want them to know I'm their car guy.
Yeah.
So, and really, and not just to sell cars, but I know that I want to take that stress off of their life.
Yeah.
Because I try to do what's best for them. So, even if we disagree, I'm telling them what I think is best, and then whatever happens. But I try to do. I'm like their counselor, kind of like you handle the money.
Yeah.
Billy handles the laughs.
I'm
Hello.
young Jock.
It's everybody. You kind of just you build it and then you keep up with them, and then I think I tracked it last year. I did 68% of my business was repeat referrals. So I track everything. I'm a numbers person.
Was last year your biggest year? Well, because COVID.
COVID, it was my biggest financial year last year. Yeah, in the middle of a national pandemic.
Zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly. It was great.
And you've mentioned something. I think Chris has mentioned it. You call it the show.
Oh yeah, everyone gets a show. Yep. So
And they come for the show. They
come
like
for
the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like making a customer feel good. And I learned this from a long time ago at my old job. I mean, if you roll up to a mansion, or when I was selling windows, I rolled up to a trailer. I'll never forget this. I was out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm out selling windows at the time. And I'm looking at this lead, and I ride by this trailer 5 times. And I was like, this can't be the right address, because these are $1,000 windows that I'm selling.
Put lipstick on a pig.
Absolutely. I'm not trying to, this is not a very nice trailer. And the guy came out and waved, and I rolled in, I said, am I at the right place? And he said, yeah. So I went in and, just back to the basics. You don't prejudge a book. You never know who's got $1 million or who looks like $1 million ain't got nothing. But everyone gets the same.
You're fairly certain.
Yeah.
Didn't have $1 million.
No, he didn't have $1 million. But, everyone gets the same respect, and everyone I call gets the show, is where you sell it, you do your best, and have a good time with the customer. You're not sitting there going right to someone don't look good. You don't hit them with a credit app as soon as they walk in the door.
Right.
Let me show you what I got. If you like it, let's see what we can do.
Yep.
But anyways, I was at this trailer. He was redoing it. And at the end of the day, I'll never forget, I ended up selling him a whole house full of windows. And the guy, he was like, we're on the phone with the bank. He's like, I know my last name. I don't think I can get it. And he got approved. And the man cried right there. But it went from that trailer to being the best looking trailer with these windows. I mean, I think he had like 15 windows on a trailer. I mean, their windows are still there. The trailer's not there. The windows are still there. From the windows
To
the walls. No job.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, because
That's old school sales.
and also you came from humble beginnings. You know, you weren't a country club kid trying to sell to the country club kids' parents.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a respect thing. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you never know what somebody's working with, and you don't want to. I don't know. You might think they might have somebody that will pay it for. I mean, you just never know. But I've always learned it's best if everyone gets your absolute best, undivided attention. No matter if you got 4 more customers, you put them. And then when it's their turn, it's their turn. I don't care if it's Matt or whatever, you guys, all that stuff. You know, whoever's in front of you is your most important person.
How'd you learn that?
My old boss, Don, I had a Don DiStefano when I was selling doors. And
Were you in the mob?
Yeah.
Were you selling doors or
Doors,
coffins?
windows, gutters, siding.
Shovels?
I was selling myself. That was the easiest.
Boy,
Obviously.
Yeah.
it's all about buy one, get one.
I mean, I can't even measure anything. The guy's asking me for an estimate on insulation, and if it ain't a square house, they're out of luck. I'm just wrapping it around, throw a number out there, hope it works. But no, I mean, that's just the old school sales of, I mean, just everyone gets the best, and you just try as hard as you can to help their needs and wants, and even if you got to work really hard to get them there, that's going to be worth it in the long run, because that one person that's really appreciative of you is the one that's going to send all the customers.
So it's like that ripple effect. You
Yeah.
Get that one and let them go. I think, and we talked about this, the thing that intrigues me the most about you is your ability to tell stories. You're a great, I think you could just sit in front of people and just tell stories, and people would just be thrilled.
Yeah. So that's part of selling. You want to be able to paint that picture.
Yeah.
Story selling, yeah.
Story selling, and it works better when they can visualize what they're seeing or how it's going to help them, or them. You know, some people riding down the road, no tent, so people know it's you. Hello, this is a 2021. Come see me, Parker Honda, Josh Bell.
Plug it, baby.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, to me, it's just whatever. I always like someone else to feel good too. So if that's part of the selling process or just part of making friends, I think that's always important.
I mean, and good storytellers tend to have a lot of life experience. You know, it's hard to be if you've lived on a farm your whole life and never seen
your whole
anything.
life. Yeah, exactly.
You're not having to draw a lot of inspiration. You're just probably thinking, and you're being authentic.
Yes, and most of the stuff I talk about or stuff is, like you said, some life experiences and things I've seen, stuff I want to touch on, and a lot of people because they can relate to it too. I mean, even the most wealthy person, 99% of the time, didn't start there.
Right.
So there's some point, whether you're shooting up a little bit and they're shooting down, there's somewhere you can hit that they appreciate. They appreciate the hustle, they appreciate the grind. Or in the other direction, if you're a little higher, you're motivating them.
Yeah.
And I think that's big too in selling. If you think you can try to help them, whether it be their self-image or their own motivation and all that type of stuff, I think that's always good.
You figure out what's important to them, and then figure out how to weave whatever you're doing with them.
Absolutely.
Dan Sullivan, strategic coach, talks about entrepreneurs. Our job is to build bigger futures for people.
Yeah.
If you can build that bigger future, I mean, a car for a lot of people, that's status. It's obviously.
I mean, what I think second biggest purchase, you got house.
It's got to be
Car.
Divorce.
Honestly, it might even be more than a house, because how many cars people buy in their life.
Right.
Yeah.
If you think about the money, I mean, what have you got? 3?
Yeah.
So far in the last couple of years between you and Allison.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a
status over there.
Oh yeah.
Hey, they weren't base models.
Grayson Park.
Just one step above, baby.
That's right.
That's
Hey,
a
power
touchscreen.
windows. But yeah, no, that's interesting. So, Billy, you were talking before. What continued? So you 40 months in a row. Well, how long were you? So you've been there 7 years. 40 months is roughly 4 years. So was there a couple years you were, top and then fell back, and then when did you get on this streak, and how long do you think you can carry it?
Well, obviously, I got on the street 40 months ago. If we want to do math here.
So that's
okay.
40.
I'm not good at math, dude. I run a financial firm. What do you think?
But before that, I mean, I would win 5 or 6 times a year. But by no means, my coworkers are very good salespeople. They've been there for 17 years, 13 years. They've been there a long time. So I don't want to say that they are good salespeople.
I just love how your headphones are right now.
You like that? I'm like complaining right now.
You're wearing a head. It's like a backwards hat. Dude. It's so awesome.
It's the way my head is shaped.
It slips.
Oh man.
Wait a minute, let me adjust.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just, I'd win 5 or 6 times. Somebody would have a really good month. They would win. But that's what fueled me. I always wanted to. And it's not even me versus them. It's me versus myself.
Right.
But it's a little verse them too.
A little bit, but it's like for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I could take a couple months off. But it's for me. Like today. Off today. But I know that I could go in there. And it just, for something about, not forgetting where you came from, that's what prevents you from going back.
Right. That extra work ethic that you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were out spending money at Sunday Fun Day.
You got to pay for it.
Spending that 40 months in a row, money.
Yeah.
Someone
I had this, I had my gold
Especially when somebody, I forgot my wallet.
I forgot my wallet.
You're welcome.
40 months in a row.
Well, we're going out with
Longer than
Josh.
that.
It's Josh's birthday. I'll forget my wallet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Longer than that, 40 months. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that jab you gave at me for the 40 months joke. So that's
Did you just now catch that?
unnecessary.
Slow down.
Unnecessary.
No.
But no, so like you see guys like Tom Brady or the best time to win is right after you won.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Oh, let's not call Josh Tom Brady. He doesn't need that.
well, I was
That's the GOAT. If I'm not the greatest, I'm heading for it.
that's it.
If I could
That
drop
might
this
be.
mic,
That's
You throw it.
This is the bumper sticker segment of the.
now the segment of bumper stickers.
But no, you get on that roll, and it is that snowball effect. Best time to win's after you won, and now, is it becoming more automated now to where it, because I look at it, it's starting out anything new. It's such a grind. We talk about everyone talks about an obesity epidemic. There's an obscurity epidemic for a lot of people that. Not enough people know what the hell I do for a living for me to truly make a lot. So it's so much outreach. And when that dam broke, because I asked you before we got on, do you think you could actually sell more? And you said quickly, like, yes. Is
There's
that
no hesitation.
Have you thought of that? I mean, do you ever think about that?
what?
The last question I asked.
Yeah, what was it? Josh, how are you so good at everything?
Why are you the way that you are?
I am the way that I am because of how God made me to be like Him.
Oh, Lord.
So you would say,
I mean, no, I
you would say
don't
you're
want to
God.
joke on that, but that's a real thing. Seriously.
Being great at what you're good at.
Right. And also, too, when I first started, I could not put a dollar on the mental. If I was to tell somebody today how to shape yourself to be whatever, prosperous, what you're good at, it all starts between the ears. Mm-hmm. I mean, I see people talk themselves. My friend group, this is why I love my friends. We have foul mouths. We cuss.
Yeah, we
We
do.
curse.
Because it's our group.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm in it.
I mean, yeah,
I'm in the group.
Jock. He's a little aged out.
Someone's
Warren
gotta
job.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a Warren job.
Somebody's got to talk. Someone's got to drive.
But like my friends, we don't have poor mouths. So you won't ever hear. I don't ever want to hear Chris say I can't do this, and I wouldn't expect that. And I don't say that. None of my friends like. That's just not That's just not how we think. That has been trained. So when I first started sales, it was all about this guy Don trained me. No negativity. So I had this when I was the canvas manager. We had this car. We were traveling around, knocking on doors. I was
So
in
canvas
charge.
manager is basically looking around to see where there's potential business.
Yes, with a little more actually kind of scoping the workout, Zillow, finding target neighborhoods. I mean, I was professional still.
Yeah.
I was 19, but I was a pro. Kinda. I was in the process. Anyways, So I'm in charge, and we had this guy, 40-year-old man. I'll never forget this day. It was kind of raining out. It's kind of cold, and I got the car full. I got 5 people with me. And these people's paychecks depend on them setting appointments. Yeah. And it's my job to put them where they can succeed. And so I was in charge of keeping the atmosphere right. And this guy, he was like, oh, man, it's cold out. We're not going to get anything. This is terrible. And, I mean, he's bringing the mood down.
Buzz Killington.
It's already hard enough.
It's already hard enough.
Yeah.
If it was easy, it wouldn't pay well. Mm-hmm. So you know what I did? I pulled over, I gave him a $5 bill, and kicked him out 2 hours from home. with the quickness. And I've been working out at the time. I wasn't taking no. Get out of the car. I dropped a grown man off 2 hours away from home.
Mm-hmm. This was before you selling cars, so you couldn't even give them away to get back.
I had a 2-door. I made people get out. He knew what was going on. He knew.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Get out. Not around my team. So that's and like my team. When I think about it, is my friends, family, associates. Everybody I put around myself is part of my team. I don't have that on my team.
You know, that's. I love that you said that.
That's
because
real.
I think.
Introducing the guy he kicked out of the car, Bill.
I walked for 2 damn days. No, but I think I'm obviously I'm way older than you guys, but it's thanks for thanks for the
Sorry. Take our age, times it by 2. Add 7.
No, but we're all kind of cut from the same cloth because there's times I wake up and I want to learn how to breathe fire, so I've just got to learn how to breathe fire, or I want to shape a surfboard, or I want to start a business, or or a podcast. I don't hesitate. If I want to do something, if I set my mind to it, I know that I can do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's going to stop me from doing that, and I see that. I think that's why I admire you guys so much, because you guys all have that attitude. And there are times where I'm like, I'll say something down, and then Matt will say, "Shut your mouth. Let's go. Let's do it." So,
yeah, I think that's what I said. It's all about how, there's certain people I've kind of weeded out of my life just because that's how they're naturally. 100%. Unfortunately, they're naturally negative.
Buzzards.
Yeah, but they live how they talk. So, and when I talk about, in the morning for me, really big. When I started going to the next level, I started waking up earlier, and I have an hour of motivation to myself every day, without fail.
What do you mean motivation?
So for me, I'll listen to some Joel Osteen, something positive. I switch my music up in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of do some positive Christian music. Now, obviously, right before work, it's heavy rap.
It's Young Jock.
It's Young Jock.
Let's go.
Listen, I got the top down. I got my stutter shades on, and I ain't taking no. They know not to even give me no. Because that's how far ahead I am. I lead them to the yes. Is this real? Are we on?
We are sending.
I'm a sick individual.
We are tagging Joel Osteen.
Seriously, on a serious note, Joel Osteen, for as much, I don't want to get into beliefs and all that type of stuff, but he talks about having the right mindset, having a great attitude, no matter what it looks like right now. And I posted something the other day on my Snapchat. I took a picture. I had just got my house. I had a maid come in, clean the whole thing.
No big deal.
No big deal. I mean, deep clean. This lady's awesome. I'll give you her number. I'll put her on. Put her on the map.
I do need that.
Yeah, everything. So, anyways, I get my clothes dry cleaned now because it's easy and I like to look a certain way. Medium starch, white shirts.
Look
pants.
good, play good.
Absolutely. So I took a picture. I had about 15 white shirts. Perfect. Pants perfect. I took a picture of it and I said, I remember when I bought my first shirt from Salvation Army with a tie. And I had to get the guy to show me how to tie it. So I keep that right there. I'm looking at what I got right now, but I keep that.
I think
I sent that out.
You have to have certain things that will. Not saying you're cocky.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes we can get in our own mind and we think we're better than what we are, but you have to have little.
You have to have that.
Little anchors that will bring you back.
You have to have that.
Though. Hey, what did I send to you from that snap that you sent out?
Hey, Chris said from buying clothes to donating them.
Yeah.
So and
That's real, man.
And everybody's talks about being cocky and all that type of stuff. But if you're not your biggest fan,
Then nobody.
you're not your, I want you to hear this out, everyone out here. If you're not your biggest fan, let that sink in.
Yeah.
Who is gonna be?
Yeah.
And if you're not, that might be a good indicator. You need to become the person you can become a fan of. There are a lot of people out there.
I like that. Yeah.
You know
We've
what?
all-
So
we've all seen.
you want to strive for who you're looking today at who you want to be, and it's like I saw something that was like success is a moving target, and there are days where you like way back when you're sitting there praying to be where you are now,
Yeah.
and now you're saying I want more,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I want to do this way. So I feel like every once in a while I keep some things around me personally. So I got this rock in my car. It's just a rock. It was, remember that thing when it was like the NC Rocks was going around?
Yeah,
And people
252 or
Yeah. So it has an elephant on it. It's green. And it says "Dream Big." I keep that with me.
Boom.
Dream big. My mom gave it to me. I keep that in my car, so I look at it every day. And it's got an elephant on it. What more appropriate?
right.
Dream big.
Elephant never forgets.
Yeah.
You know what? A great way to change your mindset and to make sure that look at that dream.
Dream big, love it. So, and my motto has always been, and this has been ever since I started MySpace and Facebook: dream bigger, live better. So if you actually kind of look at that, and that's where it starts. So like way back when I first started my old job, I wrote myself a check for $25,000, and I kept it in my wallet for years until I was able to cash it. I didn't cash it because I was paying myself, but I kept that in my wallet every day.
Yeah.
Well,
Just little things.
the great motivation for people that aren't the biggest fans of themselves is to subscribe to the channel.
That's right.
And we are your fans.
We are your fans, magician in the jog. Sorry. A little plug
But
for
no,
us.
Matthew McConaughey, you said something he said. They asked him who his hero was, and he said, "My hero is me 10 years from now."
Love it.
And then it keeps going. Because you're right. I remember I was in the NFL. I got there. I was a rookie. I was just one of those, man, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
And I was trying to...
You're out of Morehead City, West Carteret, East Carolina, in a freaking L. Think about that. I mean,
Absolutely.
think about that.
But...
Other than me, there's not a lot of talent in Morehead. And
I
here
saw
you
some
are.
of
Young
the-
Jock just
I
came
saw
back.
some of the saw some of the pictures at the pool. There's a lot of talent there.
Sunday fun day.
But no, I got there and we had a special teams coordinator and they changed a lot of what I did. And I was kind of a people pleaser. I'm going to do everything. And I went in thinking, no ego, Matt. These guys are pros. It messed me up because I didn't have like a conviction of why I did what I did. Why, I didn't have, and if you don't have an answer for that, you're easily can get pushed off.
Forgot what got you there.
I was just about to, yeah.
Forgot what got
lost
you there.
it.
I think forgot what
That's
got
real.
me there.
That's real stuff when you start getting on that next level where you forgot what got you there.
And I also didn't think past that,
Yeah.
right? So like if with a goal, and you mentioned like success is a moving target, to me getting to the NFL was like, man, I've arrived. Like I didn't think past that. I didn't think making it to the Pro Bowl or anything like that.
You got to the flag. You didn't move the flag.
And Lawrence Tynes, who I kicked with, who the first
Pro
time,
Bowl.
kicked him into 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
First time I met him, I thought, man, this guy is cocky as hell. And when I got to know him more, I remember got done watching film, and he's like, dude, if you don't fix that shit, because I'm not trying to watch you in slow motion again on film. And I'm like, why don't you ever? He goes, that guy doesn't know a damn thing about kicking. He's like, well, don't listen to him. Like you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
And it was like a switch flipped in my head. So if you don't have that ego, if you don't have that like I'm the baddest to ever do it, no one's going to show up and tell you that.
No, absolutely not. Because
And if
there's a
they
lot
are, they
of
got
people
something to
that
sell.
wake up to hate.
Yeah.
Like this is my favorite thing that people say to me, and this is the biggest insult. If you're seeing this on camera, don't ever say this to me. Honda cars sell themselves. People come up and say that to me all the time. Oh, Josh, you're doing this good because those cars sell themselves.
Yeah.
If they sold themselves, we wouldn't need salespeople.
I was about to say.
And there's 7
Order
other
takers.
And there's 7 other guys that have the same cars I do. Matter of fact, nationally, I'm roughly in the top 10%. per district when they break it down, volume, percentages where you are. So you're telling me that the other 90%, that the cars sold it for themselves there.
Right.
That and people don't even realize what they're saying. That's just because it wants to make themselves feel better.
They're just trying to justify.
Yeah, they
their
weren't with me when
lack
I was shooting in the gym.
Yeah.
Huh. And I'll tell you what that was. It was 9 to 7:30, 6 days a week. And then I'd come over and box with Chris. And, but I tell you what, support system, this is big. So you got yourself, but you got to have your friends, family.
Yeah.
One of my biggest things I think back to, I moved back home. I convinced Parker Honda to hire me because they were on the edge.
Great story, by the way. We don't got to go into, but
we ain't
got
to get in there. But I pretty much told them, if they don't hire me, they're going to hear about me.
You don't hire me or admire me.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and that's the honest truth. I told them, if they don't hire me, they're going to hear about me. And I put some pressure on them, so they ended up hiring me. I was the 9th guy. There's 8 desks. I had a folder. I was going around, but I'll never forget, I woke up, and like I said, I moved back with my parents. We're not very wealthy. They can't help me financially. But when I woke up that day...
No safety nets.
No safety nets, which is important. So I woke up, and this sticks to me every day. My dad was making me lunch, and my mom is ironing my Salvation Army shirt.
Yep.
All I got to do is get ready, put on the clothes, go to work, and perform. And like for me, sales, I'm an athlete. And I run off of high octane gas. Motivation, mental attitude. The times you're not working, you got to like express yourself, be with your friends and family.
Yeah.
Keep everything up. But that relates to everything. That same mentality, whether it be NFL, sales, everything you got to work towards. Yeah. I remember Brian Sanders' first skit he did at Mr. McGinn's class where he threw the thing through the glass. It was terrible. But we cheered his ass on. Yeah. Yeah. Because, it was cool when we were 16. But he's worked on it. You guys have worked on it. Nothing happens overnight. And that's why I think the biggest thing people forget, that success meter. Even you forget it, too. You're like, here I am. I'm on the pinnacle. And you forgot the climb. So I always try to tell myself, and I enjoy when if I go in on my day off, just to sell a car to prove a point. Right. I love proving points to myself.
Well, I think what you're saying is that you, Matt, Chris, myself, Brian, all these people that are really kicking it, they're working on their 10,000 hours.
Yes. That's when the 10,000 hours you are a master. What is it?
I think it is a master at your craft.
You're a master at your craft.
So, we're all striving to hit that. I don't know if I'm going to hit that before I'm dead, but...
So that's from, Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point. And, Steve Jobs came out before he died saying about your passion, right? Because if you're going to put 10,000, you're going to burn out. If putting 10,000 hours into something you can't stand or you're not good at and not getting any better at, that's why we keep going back to you're great at what you're good at. You see, this is how I'm wired. Like, you're more Josh today than you were 5-10 years ago.
It. Yeah, I love it. Love the process. I couldn't imagine waking up. There's people that do this. This is how sick they are. And this is their fault. This is their fault. And I can say that here. If you wake up every day and say, I hate my job, and you go there, that's your fault. Because you can do something about it.
Yeah.
You can find another job that you're passionate about, even if it's a stepping stone in the right direction. Right. So I went to Food Lion the other morning. Let me tell you this story. So first of all, it's Chris convinced me to go out Friday night. So it's Saturday morning.
Hold on, time. If I convince, you shut up before me.
Anyways, I'm not staying. I'm always saying I'm not staying out late. Here it is, 11:30. I'm
Shots.
getting home. So anyways, I didn't have my coffee yet. I had no milk, no creamer. I had to go to the ATM before work. So I scoot out. Food Line opens at 7 a.m., right? I pull in the parking lot at 7:02. Don't seem like a big deal. The doors aren't open. This lady is dragging. She's got her sunglasses on. She's smoking a cigarette. She's drinking a Bang energy drink. Her attitude's terrible. She is and I don't even got to talk to her to know that. Her body language was terrible.
Well, they say that you can light up a room. Some light it up by walking in it. Some by walking out of it.
Exactly. So. Yeah, exactly. And So for me, that just watching her, I don't want to be like that. And so like when I go to work, I enjoy my coworkers. I really enjoy my customers now that I like have built up with. And just like even there's days I talk to 10 people. They sit at my desk all day. We talk about all sorts. I don't sell one car, but it's the greatest day. I mean, get paid to hang out, have fun. But if you don't wake up, and that is a trained thing, is to get yourself there.
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to get yourself there. I don't care. When I was, so listen to this. When one of my first jobs working at Oceana, I was beach attendant, $3 to park. The next year, they wanted me to move the umbrellas. They wanted me to move chairs. And I left that job because I said, I'm in customer service. I don't do that. And I was appalled that they didn't think I was the right material to greet people to come on the beach for $3. Yeah.
That was a fun summer, though.
Absolutely.
Because I was the beach attendant.
Yeah, I know. And that's what they wanted me
We both quit that job abruptly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then I started selling windows and doors, which started on a limb. I think when things happen on a limb, I get off to that. Like, boom, leave this. I'm going to make this work. And then just find a way to do it. But, you know, there's people that wake up and say, Dear God, today's Monday, or thank you, Lord, it's Monday. You know what I mean? And so one thing I really started training myself on, and this is like stuff you got to train yourself on Friday night, somebody would be like, oh, Josh, you got to go to work tomorrow. And I always correct them, and I said, no, I get to.
Yes.
I get to.
But he can't stay late.
I can't stay late. And I make sure I correct him. I say, I get to go to a job that I like to go to. I'm going to eat Bojangles in the morning. I'm going to drink coffee. I'm going to laugh. Some customers, we're going to have a good time. We're going to giggle. Eventually, there'll be a car deal. They'll beg. They'll like pin me down and say, Josh, sell me this car. And I'm like, that means I have to do paperwork.
Right.
Yeah. And then we laugh some more. I'll call the insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's, you know.
So I think what you're describing like having an abundance mindset. You know,
Yeah.
Mark Cuban talks about you only got to be right the last time. You know, if you look at the people's trajectories to when they finally quote unquote made it, it's rarely the first time. You know, we're trained to go to college, graduate, you know, 30, 40 years at the same job, and you get a gold watch and a pension. It's not like that now. The average person changes careers every 5 years. You know, technology comes in and could render something completely obsolete.
Replace you. Yeah.
And you know, you're in the car business, which there's probably a lot of intellectuals that would say, you know, car salesmen are going to go the way of the dodo bird because I can go online and find out everything about, you know, a car. And you would think without, you know, having talked to you that there's no money to be made in that. But you mentioned earlier, Matt just wants to, there's a convenience fee essentially.
Yeah.
I just want to come in and do it. What do you think the future of car sales is going to look like? Is it all going to go online? Remember, there used to be travel agents back in the day, right? And those kind of have gone away. And they've said something similar in the financial industry, but what do you think about the car business?
Well, I think it's gonna it's gonna get rid of
The
not
pretenders?
salespeople.
Yeah.
Like if you are a good salesperson, like I said, my phone rings for anything car needs, not just to sell the car. And so I think it's just going to weed out the weaker ones. And so I read this thing on Joe Verdi, and it sticks to me all the time. Every year, 20% of the salespeople are going to have a record year, while 80% are not. Choose wisely.
That's crazy.
Choose wisely. So I think, I mean, to me, I'm not, and this is cocky. You can't replace me. I could go up to the Parkers and say, hey, this is what I want right now. Let's make something work.
Right.
Well, it's not
And
cock. It's
Well, it's knowing your value.
Yeah.
realistic. Like
Yeah.
I'm 40 months in a row on top. How are you going to replace that?
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Because there's
the second
that's
place
not
guy.
been done.
Yeah.
That's
There's-
not been done.
There's value in knowing what you're worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think if Josh Bell left the car industry, wherever you go, you were going to be successful because you instilled these traits that made you number one.
Absolutely.
And you're also going to go places where you can be successful.
Right.
It's
Right.
not. It's not
not-
like
yeah, no,
You're
it's-
not a great at
not,
everything.
no.
It's you're good. You're great at what you're good at.
Exactly. So when I came to Honda, I'll never forget my interview. So my first mission of that was when I left my old job. Me and the GM, we had built this company up. I was the first employee.
Selling windows.
Sell windows, doors, knocking on it. I was the first employee. It was me and him. built it from legitimately the ground up. The next couple years, we were doing $1.3 million.
Wow.
I mean, we were moving some cash. And
why'd you leave that, if you don't mind me asking? Because you moved back?
no, so how it was, we had like an office. We had stuff that just shows that generated leads. We had a canvas team that generated leads. We'd sell the job. The workers would come in and install it, and we'd move on. We were a straight sales company.
Yeah.
I developed and trained how to canvas, knock on doors. I developed how to do the shows and all that stuff.
Chris mentioned they're still using scripts that
I wrote the script for it.
You
They gave me the script and I rewrote it.
you were Jordan Belfort of the Windows.
They paid thousands of dollars for this script. And I was just like, give me that. I balled it up. Let me show you how to do this. Which took a lot of doors. And I trained people on that. I said, listen, I've knocked thousands of doors so you don't have to. Say the words I tell you. Right? And so anyways, when I got moved into sales, so I was in charge of generating all the leads. And our GM, I said, Don, you need to take my spot and just oversee everything. And Don is a great person, great motivator, love him to death. Like, I still call him and talk to him. I got him into my phone as Don Moneymaker. I still refer to him. But at that point, he wasn't there for me. And so some things started happening. I was still making good money, but I was driving a lot, and I felt like I was a little underpaid. So I talked to him, and I literally bluffed this into existence. I said to him, you know, Don, I could probably go to a car lot and make at least this amount of money, at least, and not have to drive nowhere. And he looked right at me and said, do it.
So,
Yeah.
40 months later.
So it gets better. So nobody really knows I actually got fired my first day in the car business. So this talks about knowing your worth.
Wow.
All right. So I was going to go work at the Pacellas of Toyota in Little Washington because I lived in Greenville. And there they have so many dealerships. They just, bring 30 salespeople in. They train them up a little bit. They send them to the stores. They hope they get one good one.
Yeah.
So we're in this room with like 20 young kids. They can't even read off a script. They're handing out scripts, and these kids are like, the
Terrified.
car today,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a G. I'm a G at this point. I'm like, man, this is something here. And so anyways, I called to Honda. They didn't call me back. I was like, oh, man, sorry for them.
They know who I am?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what?
These things that they
Yeah.
Honda sell themselves. though.
Exactly, so they don't need me.
Yeah.
And so anyways, I get a phone call from Parker Honda during our training. And I told the trainer, I said, I need to take this. So I go outside, I'm talking to Kelly, one of the managers, and I said, I just didn't want to burn a bridge. I said, I got a job now, but I eventually want to make my way back to Moorhead. And he said, well, we're not really hiring. I said, that's fine. I'll just keep me in mind. Da-da-da-da-da. And when I hang up, there's a shadow over me. And I look over, it's the head Pacellas. I think his name's Joe. Joe Pacellas. He had a broke leg at the time. I think it's the end of the month. He's stressed as hell. So like next thing I'm in his office, he's like, he sits me down, and I'm in the limelight, and he's like, who were you on the phone with? I was like, Parker Honda. And he gets on the phone, he starts going like this, and I thought he was calling Parker Honda. Next thing he takes, he just starts hitting it. Hitting the phone with the thing, and I'm like, and he starts like yelling at me, right? This man is a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
He's got with FU money, right? So he started yelling at me. So you know what I did? I pulled my pants up nipple high. Nobody talks to me like that. And I stood up and I pointed at this man. I said, have you been in that room? And he looked at me. Before he said anything, I said,
The room with all the new recruits.
yes. I said, have you been in that room?
Yeah.
And I said, don't even worry about it. I said, I'm going to be leaving. I'll be down to Parker Honda. They just told me they weren't hiring. I swear to God on my life. I said, I'll be down at Parker Honda tomorrow with a job, and you'll have to hear about me. And I left because that's not the culture I want. If I'm going to put like my soul into something, I want to feel appreciated. And so then fast forward, I get to Honda. They weren't hiring. I told them, you better hire me.
Y'all go hear about me.
And so then next I have to perform.
Yeah.
And then this is how I knew I was at the right culture with the Parkers. So I got hired around Christmas time. We're having a Christmas party. And Mr. Randall, the owner, came up. He like made, I watched him. And, they're not like people, they're little introverts. Parkers, but they're great people. But he came out of his way to come find me. And he said, Josh, I heard you're the new salesman around here. We got a big talk. We're excited for you. He said, are you related to the bells around here? And the bells around here are the construction bells, and there was a Dr. Bell.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, and Taco Bell. Yeah. And I looked at him, trying to be funny. I said, no, I'm related to the poor bells. you know. And he didn't laugh. He looked me right in the eye and he said, "You can fix that here."
Yeah.
And that's all he said to me. And I was like, "That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about."
Just crack the door open a little bit.
Yeah, and I was like, "All right, let's do this." And that's like I said. So I got very fortunate. I kind of got set up with a good place where they like really appreciate what I do. They're flexible on things I need to help me succeed because they see the big picture. Nowhere else do you go where you find people that's been in the 7 years, 13 years, 17 years. It's a lot of turnover. So the Parkers kind of understand their best investment is me.
Yeah.
So keep Josh Bell happy and you see what happens.
Hey,
I want to touch a little bit of what you said about your family not being wealthy.
Yes.
But I think wealth is, people like to measure wealth by actual money.
Yeah, monetary stuff.
But I think your family, the wealth they have is the confidence they have in you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like was your mom ironing your shirts? Your
dad making you lunch. Yeah.
So that in itself, that's fortunate for people. Not a lot of people have that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. Like I said, you got to have some good people in your corner rooting for you. And that's why I say, like, who you surround yourself with, and blood could be, your actual family. But if you got to cut your family off because they're causing a toxic environment, you better do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You better do it. And I mean, that's not a bad thing, but like, that's why I say, like, I'm fortunate my friend groups. I mean, I could call my friend groups if I was down. I remember one time my girlfriend broke up with me, and I called up like Chris, Lance. I was like, "Hey, I need y'all." Mm-hmm. Boom. No questions asked.
Rally.
Yeah. What do we need to do?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a group of 5 or 10 high achiever guys, the chances of all 10 of them being down and like this sucks, it's very low. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 at all times, but it's going to rise to the top.
Yeah, and I know I've said it on here before. And you can say it's fortunate, we're all very competitive. Yeah. Every one of us is doing something different and doing it well.
Yeah.
To prove the point. And every time we meet up, like I know we were talking the other night with Dalton, and you were like, I don't care what it is, we can hire a canvassing team and we're going to grow it exponentially.
Absolutely.
And we start making a fake script for a fake company. You know,
just spitballing ideas.
This is us cooking a steak, having a drink.
Yeah.
So this isn't watching the game or whatever. And that's
the whole point of having friends that raise your value.
So you've talked about motivation, talked about, and this stuff it's good for all of us to hear. You talked about work ethic, talked about, kind of maximizing your strengths. When did you? So like there's a tough part in life, and we talked in the show about taking off your mask, and we've also had in terms of being authentic, finding what your superpower is, what you naturally do well, without over and over again. That's a good way. We've talked about talents being your strength, or strength being talent plus knowledge and skills, and talent is something you can consistently do well over and over again. Steph Curry can consistently shoot the ball well every single time. How did someone pour into you, like, because I know probably coming up in school, you probably had teachers that were like, Josh, sit down, be quiet. That's
I was always the class clown and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Did you ever have someone pour into you like, man, if you just leverage this in sales, were you in sales just a perfect, marriage?
Yeah, I think that worked out good because, I mean, I'm alliterating. Excuse me, that cocktail's
what word?
You can find that in the dictionary into ill.
I'm an athlete.
It starts with a letter.
Yeah. And everyone likes to say you were born like this. I'm not a big believer in that stuff. Mm-mm. I still believe, you might have like a baby. Everyone has a baby step.
Nature and nurture. Yep.
But you have to be the one that's like grows yourself.
Yep.
And so to me, I saw the opportunity in sales because that's like, for me, I never thought like, whenever I was hiring salespeople, because I've hired salespeople before, one of the red flags I cannot stand, and they never go well with me, I will not talk to them again. If we're on a commission-based job and they say, what happens if we don't sell anything? my question was, how much?
2 hours away from home.
Yeah,
Here's
exactly.
$5.
Mom, he's 40 years old.
He's
living at
lucky
home.
he got 5.
Yeah. But like, my thought, that's what I'm saying. It's what you train upstairs, and I think that's something that is a skill. And if I was to like start anybody off now, I would say you need to work on your mental skills.
For sure.
And being positively sharp. And that's like you got to be able to take the no's. You got to be able to take the blows. I mean, there's times when it sucks. Mm-hmm. And like, my favorite is like when somebody says, when it was raining. So one of my favorite things when it's raining, I'd say it's a good day to be a duck or a fish. Mm. Just trying to find any situation, you can find one good positive point, and that's what you highlight. And I think that's...
You get what you're looking for. What did Gordy Patrick say? You are where you are because that's exactly where you chose to be.
And that's it.
But I mean, there are... Like, no one taught Shaq to be 7 foot. So in sports, it's a lot... Like, we're all trying to figure out what position we play in the marketplace. And in business, it can feel so abstract. I mean, the notion is if I work really hard, I can be great at anything. It's just not the case. No. You can get better at whatever you work on.
I think everybody can be good at something.
Right.
Can, but like you're going to grow the most in the area that you're already good at. We talked about, when you get a report card and you get an A in math,
work on your A's,
a B in science, and an F in language. Your parents are going to say, we really need to bring that F up. When in the real
F up,
and in the real world though, you're going to get paid the most for where you get that naturally. And you're like the A, and you're going to be pouring into that A forever. How did you kind of find that? Because I mean, I look at you, it makes sense that you do really well in sales. It wouldn't be like if you told me 40 months in a row, I'd be like, really? That's like me saying I'm a starting center in the NBA. You're like, that doesn't make sense. So did someone pour into you that, or was it reverse motivation?
Honestly, I mean, kind of, I just got really fortunate. I mean, I don't want to say I'm fortunate. I think kind of like, obviously God put some situations in my life.
Sure.
But my mom is a natural salesperson.
Yep.
And she, in our struggles, she makes things work. So when my parents found the budget in, we came from Moorhead, or Arapahoe, and we wanted to move to Moorhead. So my mom found the budget in for sale, right? We can't afford to buy it. So she found somebody that was interested in buying it too, and told them if they bought it, she'll go run it. So you can always, you can find a rock in a hard spot, but you got to realize there's a hard spot on this side, there's a rock here. What's on this side?
There's 2 sides of it, yeah.
I just made that up.
It don't make no... Dude, I was
There's a rock.
I'm like, greener grass?
Spot.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And then there's Irene.
Yeah.
There's a budget in?
Like I said, I was, my mom, my parents always told me, you're going to be better than us. And so whatever you do, just make sure you give it 100%. And then I got fortunate. I kind of landed with Don, who kind of trained me up a little bit on sales, making it work.
Yep.
At one point when we started, like I said, the other company wasn't giving us no money until we proved ourselves. So I was using my gas money, knocking on doors. And in order to get that gas money, my mom was back home baking cakes. And would go around selling the cakes for profit. And then would send me the gas money.
Wow. So,
who else would think of that? Let me go buy $40 worth of cake, turn it into $250.
Wow.
Boom. So that, and her, as a parent, they're like, we got to get Josh going.
Yeah.
Got to get Josh going. So that, I'm saying, so that was very fortunate on my end. I had somebody in my kind of corner to cook that. And then Don kind of we would talk for hours. I mean, that was almost like my uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle Don. And then when I came to the car business, I got hooked up with another Don. Donnie Willis, been there forever. He I knew how to sell a little bit. He kind of taught me car sales. And then when Scott moved to manager, he kind of showed me how to be polished. Because Scott was 60 years old. He was a professional person. Everything's professional done. So it was an evolved, certain people in my life added different points that kind of molded me. Yep. And then, bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Josh had talent from day one. So one of my freshman year of high school. So this is when Josh and I meet each other. So we were going to the beach.
Yep.
loading it up in the minivan, and
Again. I saw him out the other night.
great dude,
Michael.
great dude, riding his bike, and so I put my surfboard in their minivan, and before we leave, Josh goes to his mom, and said, "Mom, we need some money. Like we're doing this, blah blah blah." So he gets money from his mom. And I'm like, hell yeah, we got like what, $12?
Yeah.
That's all we needed. Josh goes to his dad and says the same pitch. And we get a 20. So we had 32
Now we're
bucks.
up 32.
We're up 32 and we spent every dime.
Yeah. Oceana.
I just remember, I was like, you can do that? Like, I was like, I asked my parents
The
for money.
best time to win is right after another win.
That's it.
So
Select the dubs.
let me ask you a question. Did young Jock free this wallet that day too?
Yes.
I didn't have a wallet.
He didn't have a wallet.
Dude, well, man, that's interesting. So, we do have a segment we go over called the Jock Itch. And the Jock Itch, I know you're a huge follower of the show.
Yeah.
But the Jock Itch is a skin irritation disorder. No, I'm sorry. It is something that that's the literal definition, I think. But something that's bothering you, annoying you. You've talked about you get annoyed when people say, it sounds like you're annoyed at like low energy, low ambition.
I'm annoyed by people that are wasting their life.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. So I'll never forget this. So last year I have this customer that I've sold a couple cars to. He's a young guy. He's maybe 24. And during the pandemic, he comes up to me. This is how people are programmed. It's sick. He comes up to me and says, Josh, I've really been worried about you with everything going on. How's the car business? And he's hoping that I say, it's terrible. We're short of inventory. This is going on. I mean, they thrive for that you're like knocking yourself down. And I looked at him and said, man, I'm having the best year ever. And I literally could have had 0 cars out that day, but that was going to be my answer. And he said, how are you doing that? I said, I don't listen to the media.
Yeah.
So you get this noise. I call it noise. And you got to remember how to stay focused on your targets, your goals, your objectives. That makes you itch. You know what I mean? And like, so I do get annoyed when people are like, because I mean, like, I don't want to brag or anything, but I came out the muck. You know what I'm saying? We came out the muck. Yeah, came out of the muck. We didn't have nothing. And now, like, we live in America. People don't leave America. Right. They come here.
Right.
Like, this is, and everyone has forgotten the American dream is still real. Like, you can still wake up one day and you can still be a millionaire the next. Like,
there's a reason why 3 Cubans were in a bathtub.
Coming here.
Yes. Risking life.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this opportunities that are in America are still the greatest country. And people like forget that. Like, where else do you go and in like no college degree, roll in somewhere, next thing you know, you're making 6+ figures, hanging out, having a good time. It ain't in Mexico. I love Mexico. Whatever. It's in America. It's in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, people forget the absolute basics, that everything you need is around you.
Do you think it's because, how's the saying go? Bad times create strong men. Strong men create good times.
Absolutely.
Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times. Do you think, for generation after generation, there were stories of, well, my parents, they were on a farm, had to work 20 hours a day, and then every generation has gradually gotten ahead. And, have we lost our perspective? We've heard of people going on mission trips and seeing like, yeah, we went to Africa and these kids had nothing and they were happy, and I'm so grateful. You have, a unique perspective coming from the muck. I talked to a lot of professional athletes, and they came from the hood, or they were just, it was either, rap, sports, or drugs.
Yeah.
Like, is there only,
or all three?
And now they have children, and I would always ask them, how are you going to instill that grit in your kids? Because most parents, we're parents. You guys might be parents. I'm not sure yet.
Little rugrats.
Don't catch a KID. But
18 years.
Late text. I'm late text.
that's it.
Is that young Jock?
That's it. It's about to be.
Easy.
Okay.
But we're always like, we want our kids to have a better life than we did growing up. But you realize you can't fake grit.
No.
You know what I mean? You get grit. It's just like you don't build muscles without first breaking them down in the gym. How do you think people who come from quote unquote privilege, I mean, we're in America, we're all privileged, but how do you, is that something you can create? Because I mean, we have different backstories. I don't have the same grit you have because I don't have memories of, coming from the bottom, now we're here, always had a comfortable existence. I mean, what do you think on that?
I mean, so I still think it's self-instilled, and that's like, I've kind of, you got to be able to train yourself. I think that's like a big thing. Like one thing I love about my CJ Struck, family's well off. He could do nothing, but every day his truck is the first one there. Mm-hmm. His truck is the first one there, and I woke up really early just to see. His truck is the first one.
That is a really good example of a dad, because I mean he forever wanted for nothing, but still has a work ethic.
I mean he's ready to roll in our friend group. But no, and I there's some people that I've met, and there's this kid, family's really well off, and he got laid off of COVID about our age, maybe a hair older than us or something. Used to work for like Enterprise or something. And his dad, they have 2 houses, a new boat. I mean, things are just like clicking. And he's like, yeah, my son is depressed. Depressed. Yeah. Dad just got a 27-foot Key West with 2 motors on the lift, condo house in Raleigh.
Yeah.
The kid's depressed. Come on now.
Yeah.
So
it's instilled.
Yeah, it's and his dad's a go-getter. So I think people, like I said, I think it's the noise. Like, oh, COVID, and COVID, yeah. He's like, I'm like, if it was me, I would see who was excelling in COVID, and that's where I would be.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
I mean, that might have been the first big adversity.
Yeah, and like I say, you gotta be like, that's the thing.
Go where the attention is.
Yeah, exactly, and you gotta be able to, I guess, rebound.
If Joe Biden came on TV tomorrow and said,
and remembered his name,
said, where am I? But the federal government, state governments all came out and said, car sales is illegal. It is now illegal for car salesmen to sell cars. It has to be either online or direct. We're turning car dealerships into a vending machine. You just show up. What would be the first thing you'd do?
First thing I'd do is I'd go to Parker Honda, second drawer. 3 pieces of trash, slide that over. There's a stack this thick. It's all my customers' names. Mm-hmm. Names, phone numbers. I take that with me. That's money. Mm-hmm. There's
business,
that's my business. And so one thing that I like about sales, it's a business inside of a business. And when I think about, that's one thing why I strive for what I do. Mm-hmm. It's mine. Mm-hmm. And I inspect what I expect. So I expect my business to run 40 months in a row, whether it be vacation, holidays, whatever. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's great for the awards and everything, but that's just how I'm dialed in. Mm-hmm. So when I get off to that shit. That it's like it's automating itself inside of another business. One thing I have zero money in. So people are always like, oh, you can't do this working for someone else. Sales, it's different. I mean, all you have to do is bring somebody. Clothes and a pen.
Yeah.
There's millions of dollars worth of inventory, millions of dollars worth of business, and all you got to do is pick up the phone
and start dialing.
So how would you monetize that list? Have you thought of other industries? I mean, because once you learn sales, it's great. We're all talking to the same people.
First of all, it would be whatever I had to do. Mm-hmm. And that's real. I don't care if I had to figure out a way to clean their house. If I had to gas their car, an automated, let me bring your car to the gas station. I would go down that list and I would dial for dollars. Seriously. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not above anything. I will do it. Mm-hmm. So just because people are like, oh, Josh is where. So first of all, today I was washing a car because the customer was in a hurry. I'm helping the detail guy. I ain't scared. Mm-hmm. If that's what it needs to be, that's what we need to do. 2 people, I ain't scared. Mm-hmm. So people automatically think you're dipped in, when am I going to make $100,000? When am I going to do this? And like, it doesn't work like that. You have to be willing to do whatever it takes. But the opportunities are there.
Yeah.
You got to be looking for them. So like I said, I would go down the list and say, what do y'all need?
Yeah.
I would send out a mass text. What do you need help with?
Or what problem is now arising from this law now making there's going to open up.
Yeah.
And that's what you mentioned with COVID. COVID was an opportunity for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Open
And I think
your own doors.
Yeah.
a lot of people, they get asked that, entrepreneurs, if you had to lose everything, but you could keep one thing, what would it be? And they always say, my list.
My list.
My list.
And I'm old school. It's on my computer, but I got the list. And I got it in my phone. Like, seriously, we did Sunday Funday. I want you to this is honest truth. Did Sunday Funday, I thought I lost my phone. I didn't sleep good all night. That's my damn lifeline, buddy. Yeah. I literally woke up and then like panicking. I thought I was at the Tipsy Turtle. I found it under my bed this morning. As soon as I found my phone, you know what I did? I'm off today. I put on a shirt and tie. Let's go get it. Plug that bitch in.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I got a question, and then we'll go into the next segment because we do the Magic 8 Ball. But my question to you is, where do you see Josh Bell in 10 years?
In a bigger condo.
Hey,
With
can
a
I have
bigger
a
pool.
room in that condo?
With a bigger pool, and I'm driving a bigger boat.
10 years from now, that'd put me halfway or a third of the way to retirement. So I'm going to retire when I'm 57. So I'll be 1/3 of the way there.
Nice.
You're
All right,
not
Matt.
retired at
Come on,
57.
Matt.
Well, I mean, that'll be a major part. I'll be piddling.
You want to have
I'll
the
be
ability
piddling.
to retire.
At that point, I'll be piddling. I just want to make like a couple $100,000 part time, and that'll handle the rest.
Just a couple.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I'm
love
always
what
like,
you love what you do.
yeah, I love the grind. That's what I get off to. I get off to the grind. Because that's like some things people won't do. They don't appreciate the grind. I love when it's tough. I love when, it's rain. I mean, this is my favorite. When there's a couple salespeople, it's starting to rain or something. I'm like, man, we're going to be slow today. And you ought to see them. Their head goes down. They go sit down. I laugh. I mean, it's so easy to mess with that's how weak their mental state is. And I mean, I guess that's an intangible, how you're trained upstairs. But like for me, everyone thinks the up is the best. That's false. The best is the absolute bottom when you bounce, because that's a big gap. Boom. So I like when you hit the ground and then over all odds, you still push it back up. Because sales, careers, life, there's ups, there's downs, there's ups, there's downs, there's ups and downs. The ups are great. You're flying around, you got your rolly, sunglasses. But when you hit that bottom, you're like, shit, rent's due. Who else can make it happen? Skills pay the bills.
That's right. You learn the most in your down times.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, that's what gets me is the grind.
So for me, and I've told you this before, I think in 10 years, I think there's going to be a Bell whatever car lot.
Absolutely.
I think, and not just
It could
one.
be.
Is that an ambition?
I wouldn't say 100% at this point in my life.
Because you see top producers, the natural step is, well, shoot, I don't need the overlords because I'm doing all this work, blah blah blah, and then they get into a different role, maybe managing, or they're not producing as much, and sometimes it doesn't create a great
but for him, I think that you chase the challenge.
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a car lot or whatever. I just think in 10 years you're probably going to have something where
The hard part is keeping the challenge in front of you. My favorite year. This is my favorite year. 2 years ago when I had the store record. The first day of, I think it was 2020. I said, I need y'all to find out what's the most cars that's ever been sold here in 1 year. They said 219. So every day in the morning I wrote down 220. You know what I ended the year with? 220. So that is what got me off.
You show up at the golf course and say, what's the course record?
What's the course record? And so for me, it's always finding new goals. My first one was a financial goal of, I'm not going to get into it, but there was a financial goal. And the first year I hit it, I actually have my W-2 saved.
Yeah, and sent to me.
Yeah. But it wasn't about it. And it's like the money is that's not the thing that hits it. It's the other stuff, and that's a byproduct. I think if you're always worried about the money, you don't get it.
Well, it's commission breath.
Commission breath.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
I think, Matt, you said this before I forgot who you get it for. Money's just the measurement of your success.
Yeah, it's how we keep score in business.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately,
it is a result.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what everyone looks towards. But I mean, like for me, I was always like, I need this amount of units, I need this amount of customers, and then at the end, I don't have to worry about
that. Money will take care of itself.
It takes care of itself. So I think, you put yourself last in situations like that, and at the end,
you're first.
You're gonna find yourself first.
that's like
that's 40.
That's another thing we said. Accomplish big things by doing the little things.
Right.
Another one said, if you pick up enough pennies, the dollars take care of themselves. Yep. There's a lot of these different little things, but I see big stuff. So we're gonna go into the Magic 8 Ball.
Okay.
Do you want to ask it a question?
No, you ask it. Ask it a question. Let me shake it.
We're gonna turn the camera off. We're all gonna do an 8 ball. Then we're gonna come back on. Smells good. So what would Chris? You want to?
Yeah, you do this, Chris.
You want to predict? Nope.
What's the topic?
So basically,
it's about Josh, right?
We'll have
about Josh.
We'll have a prediction. So another shows before we had a real estate agent. We said next year you'll double or the amount of houses you sold.
Well, you hit 221.
Could be
220. How much you gotta lose?
What do you think the most you could sell, like realistically, in a year, without having to work 500 hours a week? Do the math.
Well, right now
What number scares you? What number you're like, yeah, right, that can be done?
Well, there's this guy that I follow named Frank Cravito or something. He works at Pisa Honda in wherever the hell that is. A Honda store.
Isn't there a tower there?
Yeah, something.
Okay.
Leans.
Are we thinking the
Lean
same
with
thoughts? Hey, lean with it, rock with it. Young Jock, go and kick it with it. But he sells over 100 cars a month.
Damn.
By himself. He's like, he has a guy that gets cars for him and all this type of stuff. And like he is his own dealership in a dealership, and he does it 5 days a week. So
I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Hey, ask me how business is.
How business is.
Booming.
Boom.
So
100
I'm
a
like
month?
thinking, like, if he does that, I mean,
Why not me?
yeah. And if I land a little short and I hit 30 a month, 40 a month, I mean, it's just a building. It's a building process.
So we'll do the prediction because I don't know where that's at. We're confined by the number of people we're going to see.
Let's do 300.
In a year.
300.
In 2000.
In 2020, 2022?
So we'll do 2022.
Or the rest, how much is in this year?
Well,
because we're coming on the 8th month.
The
So you
8th
have
month.
4 months.
Yeah, I'll need some help.
So
I'm going to need some help, everybody. By the way, I pay $200 for referrals. Let's get this goal.
300 by the end of the year.
Let's get this goal.
300. Will Josh Bell sell 300 cars by the end of 2021?
Let's roll the dice.
So
Shake it. Shake it, Josh.
So he makes a prediction, and then we compare it to the 8 ball.
So where are you right now?
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
No, I just need people to believe in me.
No, believe it. So I think I'm going to go
For
with
300,
yes.
you might need to get 300 referral.
I think.
Survey says.
Okay,
let's be more realistic on this goal. Let's start next year.
So 2022.
2022.
2022.
And it's 300 cars.
300 cards, that put me about 25 a month.
That's easy.
Thank you.
I say yes.
That's what I'm saying.
I said definitely
That's
yes.
one a day. Let's do it. Let's roll it.
Easily do that. If you went in on your day off and sold 3 cars, what the hell? All right, Magic 8 Ball.
And I did it in a convertible top.
Easy. Listen to Joel Osteen.
Let's do
and
it.
Tupac.
All right, ready?
Young core.
Magic 8 Ball says...
You may rely on it.
It's going to happen.
There should be an S on my chest.
No,
In this case, it should be an H.
I'm gonna design a poster for you. I'm gonna design a poster for you, like 300, the movie, and it's gonna be your face on a
Yes,
Spartan.
let's do it. Let's do it.
First of all, you do not have to Photoshop this body.
I'll put a filter on it.
It's ready for 300.
You don't want to be like that one ogre with the kicked out that betrayed everybody. Damn you, Leonidas! Jeez. Well, this
Turn right.
This has been fun, man.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you, Josh.
I've enjoyed it. Y'all guys are awesome.
Glad you had
We gotta make sure we like and subscribe.
Yes, it's very true.
Boom.
And a cocktail.
And smash that like button.
Guys, do us a huge favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, give us a big thumbs up. If you don't like the video,
Give it a thumbs up.
You got terrible judgment. Again, Chris, you steal my damn tagline. Start it again. We're not doing it.
bing. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. If you don't like this video,
You got terrible judgment.
guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.
Peace.